Okay, so here's the problem. Arpeggios can sound really boring and contrived if you don't know how to use them correctly. And this means practice them correctly and improvise with them correctly. So my goal in this lesson is to show you 3 easy arpeggios that you can use over any major 7th chord and how to use them effectively in a way that actually sounds good. All right, so how are we going to do this? Well, we're going to take what I call a language recipe. This is a recipe for building musical language. I'm going to show you an easy way to apply what we learn on arpeggios, and of course we're going to do this in 5 positions. In this video we'll probably only do it in 1 or 2 position, but in the PDF you can get below in the description it will have all 5 positions, connecting it to the different chord structures that I talk about in my Master 2-5-1 line series. And then also we're going to connect this to the picking technique that I talked about in my fast playing picking video, which some of you guys might have seen, and we're going to integrate all of this. So I think that's really important. We want to integrate the technique we're learning, all of the skills, in a way that makes our guitar playing level up fast. And you have to do that by connecting all these ideas together in a way that makes sense. If we have random ideas that don't work together, it's not going to work. All right, so let's get into it. The language recipe we're using for this lesson is we're going to ascend in arpeggio, and I'll talk about what an arpeggio is in a second. We're going to ascend in arpeggio and then descend down the scale using only 2 notes per string as our goal. A couple times we're going to have to mess with that using some pull-offs, but essentially we're using 2 notes per string of the scale we're in. So we're going to do this in C major. For anyone who's new to arpeggios, an arpeggio is simply a chord that instead of playing all the notes together, we're going to play them one after another sequentially. And chords are built in thirds, so our arpeggio is also built in thirds. We're going to do this, like I said, in C. So the first position we're going to look at is with this C major 7 chord. Again, this is all in the PDF you can get below. And we're going to start with C major 7 played over a C major chord. So this is assuming it's a C major chord is being played for a while, and that is the background harmony. You see this in certain songs like Take the A Train where there's a major chord for a long period of time. But this is just to get the general concept, and there's many ways you can apply it. So what we want to do is we want to take our arpeggio from the lowest place we can play it in position. In this case, our low E string, because the notes in C major 7 are C, E, G, and B. So those are the 4 notes we're using to ascend. We start with the lowest one, which is E. Another important factor here that I want to make sure you guys are aware of, in general, when we're playing arpeggios, one way they sound bad is when we start our downbeat on the root or the 5th. So in this case, C or G. Not always the case, but in general, I found it usually sounds better to start on the 3rd or the major 7th on the downbeat. Tends to work better for most lines. Again, not always the case, but for most of the time. The first part we're going to ascend for C major 7 is starting on that low E, and it sounds like this. So we go up the arpeggio. And when we come down, for all 3 of these examples in this position, we're going to use the same descending pattern. So once we get to the end of that phrase of the arpeggio, we're going to do 2 more notes descending. And that keeps our picking in the correct down up, right? Because we had 4 notes total on that string. And then from here on out, we're going to do 2 notes per string within the C major scale. So that would be E, D, C, B. You could have also picked B and A, but I'm picking C and B. G and E. Now here I would say you would not pick the F. In general, when we're playing in a certain major key, we want to avoid the 4th of that key, which in this case is F. It's known as an avoid note. So we're really only available with G and E, and then C and B. So the whole line sounds like this. And that's going to that position. So that's our first arpeggio recipe, our language recipe for this C major 7. Now the second arpeggio we can use over C major 7 chords is an E minor 7 arpeggio. Now E minor 7 has E, G, B, and D. What I like to think of for this arpeggio is really what we're doing, we're playing C major 7 because it has the same three notes E, G, B, but instead of C, we're replacing that root with the ninth, which is D. So whether you want to think about the E minor 7 arpeggio, or whether you want to think about this as C major 9, where your root becomes a ninth, either way works. What we're going to do is we're going to play now the E minor 7 arpeggio, again from our lowest possible note, E, and that will be our ascending, and then on the descending portion we're going to play the same line that we had previously. So that would look like this. Okay, that's the second arpeggio, E minor 7. And then the third arpeggio we'll use is A minor 7. A minor 7 has A, C, E, and G. So again, it shares three notes with C major 7, C, E, G, and then the first note, A, is a way of replacing the fifth of C major, G, with the sixth. So you could think about this as A minor 7 or as a C6 arpeggio. So we'll do that one. So this is again starting lowest note, E, E, G, A, C, E, G, A, and then C, E. And this one I'm using my pinky on this. If you guys want to really check out the different picking and fingering techniques, I included that in the PDF as well. And then from here we're going to go to our descending portion. So what we have is over the C major 7, what you'll be practicing is C major 7 arpeggio in this position, E minor 7 arpeggio, and A minor 7 arpeggio with the same descending pattern. For this position, I also include a master line that is more vocabulary oriented. It's not an exercise. You could use this as an actual line, it would work well, but something that has some more chromaticism and throws in other bebop type language approaches. So we have that as well in this position, and in the PDF it has it for all the positions. We have a master line for each position to really integrate what we've learned and connect the different arpeggios. The other thing I include in the PDF is 5 bonus lines that are descending only. Instead of having an ascending line for each one, you'll have an ascending and descending line for each of the positions to work on your arpeggios, really work arpeggios out. The line sounds like this. Let's work through it. So we have, starting on that same, this is working through the C major arpeggio, now the E minor 7 arpeggio, and now the C major again. You could have also changed that last C major one to A minor 7 with that kind of sound, C, E, G, A. A lot of variation here, but that's the first line in this position. Okay, let's take a look at the second position, and then the third, fourth, and fifth position, as well as the bonus lines, are in the PDF in the description. But let's really solidify this whole concept and look at another position applying the same things. So the C major chord that I use in this next position is this voicing. You can normally think about it like an A minor 9, but it's G, C, E, and B. Right, so that's the position we're in with this. We're going to start off with our C major 7 with our lowest note in this position, which would be B. C, E, G, B, C, E, G, B. And now here we have only 3 notes because we're playing B, C as an up pick, and then a pull off to keep with the picking technique. So our ascending arpeggio again, pull off to B, and now 2 notes per string. G, E, C, B, A, G, E, D, C, B, D. Some of these I'm pulling off just because of the phrasing, but you would pick each one down up, or you could pull off when it feels appropriate to you. Okay, so that's for our C major 7. Again, we're going to switch now to E minor 7 notes, E, G, B, D, keep the same descending pattern. So our lowest note for E minor 7 is B right here. We have B, D, E, G, B, D, E, G, B, and now our same descending line. Pull off. Sometimes I use my pinky on this for the C. Sometimes I use my third finger. Most people will find the pinky more useful, more easy to reach, but I'm switching my technique a little bit sometimes and use my third finger. So one more time for the E minor 7. Okay, so for A minor 7, we're going to start on our lowest note now with A. So A, C, E, G, A, C, E, G, A, C, pull off to B. That's our new same descending portion. A, C, B, 2 notes. Okay, so that's the 3 arpeggios we're really trying to practice in this position. Then we have our master line to kind of connect all of these arpeggios together. That one we're going to look at this pattern. So we have a rest, basically an 8th note into that triplet. This is our C major 7. Now we're going to approach our E minor 7 arpeggio with that chromatic. So that's E, G, B, D. And then we're going to approach our A minor 7 also with the same chromatic. And then we have, targeting that E, D to B, C, A. And that is our line in the 2nd position. If you want to check out the rest of this, make sure to grab the PDF. If you guys have any comments, feedback, love mail, or hate mail, you can leave it in the comments below. I look forward to hearing from you. See you in the next one.